Hey guys, today marks another week of Sakamoto desu, or have you heard I am Sakamoto, and this week's episode is as bizarre as the others. Actually, it's not as bizarre. It's I like to think it's a little bit tamed, but nonetheless, it was two parts of this week's episode. The first part was remember, I think it was back in episode 5 where they said, is Sakamoto a pervert? And in the first part of this week's episode, it was titled, really, is Sakamoto a pervert? So it starts off where we have Achan and his two friends, the same guys who first appeared in episode 1 and tried to cause Sakamoto to stay stuck in the classroom and possibly burn with the fire in there. They're in every episode. So in this week's episode, they tried to get Sakamoto while they were in a bookstore to get him to get them adult videos. So they couldn't get through that part without getting caught. So they thought, okay, with Sakamoto's skills and how he is capable of doing all things and everything, they thought they can use him and utilize him in order to get into the R18 section and get the DVDs and such, and that they would give him one of the characters that has the blonde hair. He would give Sakamoto his older brother's adult ID card, so that way it'll play off as Sakamoto being an adult and he's just renting these for some time until he has to bring them back. So he's going through all this trouble trying to be real sneaky and trying to not make sure that his classmates, his female classmates, find out that he has taken these adult videos, and also Kobuta's mother, who's also there, make sure that she doesn't catch him, because remember, she still has this thing where she fantasizes about him as the main character from her Korean drama series, romance series. So she still has that assumption about Sakamoto. So Sakamoto's just slithering around the place, acting all sneaky and ninja-like, and then he finally reaches up to the cash register, and instead of the person that was originally there, who was a newbie cashier, he meets with the boss. And before Sakamoto he meets the boss, what he does, he stays stuck in the corner and he takes out a pen, and you're wondering if he's writing something on his wrist, whatever he's writing there, and they assume he's writing person. And actually what he did was he drew a fancy looking watch on his wrist. So when the boss was asking all these questions like, are you 27 years old, are you a worker or something like that, assuming that Sakamoto was a high schooler, Sakamoto just showed this fake hand-drawn clock, wrist watch on his wrist. And the man he was like, oh my god, this man with a baby face is working that. I can't tell him no. So Sakamoto's like, give me 1 day rental instead of a full week rental. And here's my watch to prove you that I am a working adult. So he got the DVDs. I don't know, like, you cannot pull that off on with anybody, like showing a drawn wrist watch on your and showing it to the boss of whatever store. You think you get away with that, but this is Sakamoto we're talking about. So he was capable of getting away with that. They got the DVDs, but when they saw that they assumed Sakamoto never watched adult videos, they actually returned them. There was a bin for returned items, and they decided not to go with watching the videos. So the second part of the episode was like a sports day, where his class 1-2, they were going through multiple sports events, like trying to capture the bread that was hanging on a stick, or they trying to build a tower with the boys, or like running a track race. And of course his class was leading, and the boys in the class were trying to make Sakamoto look bad, so that in that way all the females of the school can say they look pretty cool, because with Sakamoto being in that school, there's hardly any chance for any males in that school to get any of a potential date from any of the female population. Let's just say that because Sakamoto is so wonderful, he's so perfect, that it makes all chances for these males to have some type of female interaction impossible. So it came to the last part, where it came to the race, where Sarah, the fat fat amateur model, he tied up Sakamoto's shoelaces, and it caused Sakamoto to start running like a cheetah. He's running on all fours, and then one of the girls from his class tried to get the bantam, but because he had it in his mouth, it was slobbered in his saliva. But she was able to pass the bantam to Sarah. And this part, I had to cover my eyes because if I felt so embarrassed watching that part of the episode, because this guy started taking his shirt, put it over his head, and then what happened was their class did not win the race because all of his clothes dropped off, so he was running stark naked throughout the entire race. And I just felt so embarrassed watching that whole part, that rest of that part for that episode. I just felt really bad for Sarah. But the girl did compliment him, saying that he did look cool. So somewhat his task, what he was trying to do, he did accomplish it. So it was a very awkward scene watching for Sakamoto during that part. So I was kind of embarrassed watching it. Like when you're watching something, you kind of feel embarrassed for the character. You feel shame for them. But it was a funny episode nonetheless, as always with Sakamoto. If you saw this week's episode of it, please tell me in the comment section below, what do you think of it? What was your most favorite part? How do you feel about the first part and the second part of this week's episode? The links are in the description box, so you guys can click on that. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!